Alright, today I'm going to talk about this amplifier right here. This amplifier is the Alpine MRV-1507 old school class AB amp. One of the fantastic amplifiers. This amplifier was really popular and really common when I was first getting into car audio, and it is to this day one of my favorite amps because it just sounds so amazing. So this particular amplifier I bought used, and I didn't have it for too long, and one day I was riding home from work and it just started making a weird popping sound. Let me go down and show you what I mean. I'll show you the subwoofer and I'll talk about what I mean. Alright, so this is what was happening with the amplifier. It would run through a cycle about every 10 seconds. I had it hooked up to this subwoofer right here in this box. And the subwoofer would sit here, normal position, and then it would just kind of go back, 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 and it would get sucked all the way down to the bottom slowly over about 10 seconds. And then it would pop, come all the way back out, the amp protection light would turn on, turn back off, and then the cycle would start over again. And it did that about every 10 seconds. And if you watch the video of the repair, you'll see exactly why it was doing that. So after this thing sat in my closet for 2 years and I couldn't find anybody to fix it, and I didn't want to take it on myself, because I've been installing amplifiers for almost 20 years now, but as far as opening it up and fixing the circuit board, finding out exactly what's wrong with it, that's a bit above my head. So luckily, I was playing around on YouTube one day and I came across a guy who was fixing this exact model amplifier. And he has several videos where he's fixing this exact model amplifier. So I contacted him. Sure enough, he was willing to take the job, so I sent it off to him. And he fixed it. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the amp guts. And this is going to be from before I sent it off. And then I'm going to do another shot and I'm going to show you what he fixed on the inside. So if we look down here, you can see the transistor that he replaced. And I'm going to put a link down to the video so you can see the full repair. It looks like there was a transistor and a diode, as well as a few loose solder joints around. And who knows what problem caused what, but that's what wound up having to be replaced. That one right there is the transistor. Move the light and you can see the diode just under that capacitor. Somewhere along the way during shipping it got dropped, and this little black piece of plastic surrounding the speaker terminals got cracked. It looks like he went ahead and re-glued it, and it looks like there's a little chip on the corner here. Looks like this must be where it hit the ground. Alright, getting ready to put the amplifier in. But this other amplifier, you'll see what I'm talking about, has a different style of hooking up power. So in order to do this, I'm going to have to put in the distribution blocks. Got two of these stingers. They go, you can do 4 or 8 gauge down here, and you can do 1/0, 0 gauge, or you can do 4 gauge up here. Anytime you put a new amp in, gotta set the gains. First thing before I do any work, I'm going to disconnect that fuse. That way I don't shock myself in the back or wind up blowing the fuse. Alright, it's ridiculously windy. Hopefully you can hear me, but just got the fuse disconnected. So I should have no power running to the back. I'm not going to remove these from the amplifier because this amplifier is going back in once I get the box built for the dual 12s.
Dumbass!
So what I'm going to do is cut this wire with enough length left on it so that I can run from where I'm going to put the amplifier to where I'm going to put the distribution blocks. Alright, here we have 1507 number 1 that I just took out. This is the one I've been listening to for the past month. Here's the one that I just got back from Kevin, hopefully freshly fixed. So now I'm going to go put this one in the car. Just want to point out a little difference between the two of them. Alright, the first one I pulled it out, still has the set screws. So I crimped on some terminal ends, and I have some 4 gauge wires running to them. So I just kept a few feet of the 4 gauge wire, so I'll run from here to the distribution block when I go to put both 1507s in the truck. But if you notice on this side, I don't have the set screws. So I'm going to have to do something different. Let me show you what that is. Alright, for this amplifier, it doesn't have set screws to smash something down on top. What it does have are holes in the end. So what you use are one of these. These came with the amplifier originally. It's got an Allen head. You put that in there, you loosen that up, you tighten it down, and you're able to put 4 gauge wires directly into the amplifier. Put the 4 gauge into here with a set screw. Another cool feature with this amplifier is the battery direct terminal. You could, if you wanted to, run your power wire directly into here instead of here. If you do run it directly into this one, you bypass the parametric equalizer, saving just a little bit of power. You'll notice that they both have them. Battery direct. This is battery. So I've run the power wire into the power distribution block. I've run the ground wire into the ground distribution block. And just for the record, once I get going, I get multiple amps. I'm going to run 1/0 and 1/0, or 0 gauge, whatever you want to call it. For now, I have to go from the distribution block to the one amplifier that I have installed for right now. Alright, now I'm getting ready to put some new wire into these terminals here. This is just some generic 4 gauge. I'm going to use Sky High as I'm doing throughout the whole build, and let me show you why. This is the Sky High 4 gauge. This is generic 4 gauge. See the difference? Now that it's in there, you can see that actually gives a lot more clean of a look than that. Even though I could clean this up a little bit with a little heat shrink tubing. Alright, it's got this little cover so you can't adjust anything. And you can remove this little plastic piece from the cover too. That comes out. So you can easily get at your adjustments. But once you remove it, you can see it's got a gain, a high pass and a low pass filter. It also has a 1-band parametric equalizer. You can boost or cut up to 12 decibels. Any frequency you want, from 30 all the way up to 200. And you have an adjustable Q factor. This is great for when you use a ported box. Alright, so now I have the ground coming in. Yeah, I know it's a little sloppy still. I have the ground, the positive, I have the remote turn on, and then I have the remote turn on running from the line driver into here. Positive for the line driver. So now that I have the amplifier hooked up electrically, I'm going to double check and triple check my connections, make sure I'm not connecting anything wrong. Then I'm going to take the gain and turn it all the way down, connect the signal wires in, and now I'm going to run up front. Before I hook up my speaker, I'm going to run up front, turn it on, pop in a 40 Hz test tone, and then I'm going to set the gain with a DD1. Alright, got my tripod going, got everything hooked up, got the fuse back in. Now I'm going to go up front, put the key forward, and let's see what happens on these lights. Alright, it tells that it can see that there's music going in, but I don't have it hooked up to the speaker yet. Let's set the gain first and see what happens then. Alright, now I have the 40 Hz test tone playing. Put my screwdriver in the gain slot. Turn the screwdriver, turn it, turn it, turn it. Oh, what do we got? There it is. So there it's clipping. Turn it back just a little bit. It's the highest I can go without clipping. Turn it down just a little bit more. That's all I have to do to set the gain. Simple as that. Now I'm ready to test it out and see what music sounds like. Alright, it's looking like it was a success. Let's try it out with some music.
Can you be my doctor? Can you fix me up? Can you wipe me down? So I can make you give it up. Can you say my name like a Jersey shit?
Alright, so it looks like the amplifier that I got back from Kevin works, and I have it installed in the car. And I put it on the 15 and it works just fine. Now I have this other amplifier, so what do I do with that? Well, if you've seen the earlier videos in the series, you probably know by now that the plan is to put 2 Type R 15s in the back of that Suburban. But here's the problem. This one has 2 years on it, and if I put a brand new 15 in there, the new one's going to need some break-in time. Because every subwoofer you get a new one, all the surrounds and all the spiders and everything on the inside is a bit stiff. So you need a little bit of time for that to wear in. So the plan is to take this subwoofer out of this box and put this brand new one that I just got into the box, and then give this some time to break in while I go ahead and I plan out the box. Eventually I'm going to have a dual 15 ported box, and each one is going to be on its own MRV-1507. That's 900 watts a piece. So it's going to be an 1800 watt of bass system. You can see I have a dual 2 ohm setup. I have the 2 voice coils wired in series. That gives me a total of a 4 ohm load, which is exactly what my amplifier performs best at. You can tell that the brand new one is really stiff down here and up around here. This one's got 2 years on it and it moves a lot more freely. They tend to loosen up in here and around here as the parts wear in. So in order to make the subwoofers a little bit more even to each other, you take the brand new one, stick it in the box. So Alpine makes it ridiculously easy to wire up a subwoofer in series. They put all the connections right here. They give you these spring terminals, and then they even give you these little banana clips. Gotta do. Oops. Put that in. Now you just have to wire a negative and a positive wire, and I should be all set. There it is. Brand new Type R. Freshly fixed amplifier. And a big frickin' mess of wires. So stay tuned for future videos where I clean this swirling mess up. Gonna put in an amp rack, and I'm gonna build a dual 15 ported box, and I'm gonna put in 2 of these. Stay tuned, subscribe for more. Thank you for watching.